that David Fletcher is a better hitter than
Hello, what is going on, baseball fans? We're back this week with another episode of This Week in Baseball. I am still not Jordan Lazowski. 2 weeks in a row, things I would say are looking up. Anyway, so today we've got some familiar faces here. We've got Kristian Lloyd, Matthew Penn, Jonathan Roy. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Doing well.
Pretty good.
awesome.
Great to hear. And like always, we'll do our standing updates around the league in 60 seconds. We'll try to wrap up some things that, if we miss anything in that seventh inning stretch, and then what to watch for. And so J-Roy did win our seventh inning stretch last week. We'll see if he can make it 2 in a row this week. Anyway, we'll jump right into our standings update. And just a reminder, we are recording this Sunday afternoon, so this could be some of these could change by the end of the day here. By the time you listen to this, but as of right now, this moment, this is what the standings will look like. So we'll start in the American League. Out west, the Astros are leading that division there. The Central, it's the White Sox, and the East right now it is the Rays. The wild card, you have the Yankees and the A's, with Boston a half game behind Oakland. In the National League, out west, you still have the San Francisco Giants. The Central, you have the Brewers. The East, you have the Braves. Wildcard teams out there, you have the Dodgers. And right now, it is the Cincinnati Reds. They're tied with the Padres, but I think they have the technical edge over them right now. So from anyone really, anything you want to say about this current standing updates? We have a little bit of change in those wild card races this week.
I think one of the biggest things is the fact that the Braves are actually playing great ball right now. I think that they're kind of looking the way we thought they could at the beginning of the season. They've won like 8 in a row or something now, or something like that.
I think so.
And they're continuing to increase their lead in the East, and they're the only team in the NL East that has a positive run differential. There's this plus 90 right now, and every other team's in the negative. So, if you even look deeper than just the record, it's really not close there. Still, Phillies are only 5 games back. Anything could happen, but I think the Braves have been the most interesting team in the last week or so.
And you look at the American League now, the Yankees in that first wild card spot, they've been on the outside looking in for most of the season. This is kind of the run a lot of their fans thought would happen at some point, and it finally is. So,
yeah, it looks like we've lost Christian here for a sec, but we'll see if he comes back. Right now the Braves seem to be like the only team playing like they want to win that division. So, it's fine. But I think the big surprise there is the Reds right now. The Padres have just been on an unbelievably just treacherous downfall in the second half here. But the Reds have been playing good enough to kind of overtake that wild card spot. And so, all season it's been, the 3 big NL West teams. And right now it's down to 2. We'll see if the Padres can keep it up. But
I'll say, though, if you're the Padres, nothing will turn you around like that one they had last night, though. When you were getting perfect gamed through, 5 innings, and then, and you have 1 hit into the 8th, and then you turn around and you hit a game-tying 2-run home run at the bottom of the 9th, and you go on to win that game in extras. If there's anything that's going to jumpstart that team, I think that'll be it.
for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a big win for them last night. I was rather upset about it, being the Giants fan.
Dude,
but, it's fine.
You're not the only one, but.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I wasn't. I'm sure you were more upset than I was. But Nola was throwing such a good game, too.
Yeah, that was the first really great start he's had in so long. And for him to just, and, it was still, 8 1/3, 2 earned. I'll take it. But, man.
Right. if he can get it like really going, him and Wheeler, scary 1-2 punch.
Mhm.
So anyway, so we'll move on past our standing updates to around the league in 60 seconds. So give me your best recap, everything that's gone on this past week. We'll start with Christian.
I just want to start with the Baltimore Orioles. That's going to be my focal point for this. They are horrible. They deserve all the slander that the Pirates have gotten in the last 3 years, and they have gotten none of it. They have lost 16 games in a row by 2
It's
runs
17.
or more. Is it 17 now? By 2 runs or
It's
more.
17.
That hasn't been done since 1885, man. Like this is embarrassing by the Baltimore Orioles. That's all I have to talk about.
That's right. Yeah, it's 17, and they're currently losing right now. So it would be 18 if they lost again today if the score held.
And it's not even being
what's
spoken about,
Matthew?
really.
It's
Yeah,
not,
we-
no.
We talked about it a little bit in the standings update, but just the Phillies, the Padres sort of falling off, the Reds, the Braves coming up, and then also the milestones. Ohtani hit his 40th home run this week, I think, and then just now with Miguel Cabrera hitting his 500th home run. Big
Yep.
week for home run milestones that we've been seeing across the league.
About 5 minutes before we started recording,
Yep.
Miggy hit 500. It's also our background. If you kind of see through us right here. They put
Oh, it is.
a graphic as the background because Miggy deserves it. Yeah. J-Roy, what do you got?
Yeah, a few different things. I think it's interesting that the other day Max Fried, he threw a Maddox, and I think that that's the first like Max Fried start we've seen in a long time. I think that was like the first time in a while that we've seen like a Cy Young caliber performance from him, and he's just riding that Braves momentum right now. Also bringing up Ohtani, I think we're always like enamored by what he's doing this season, but I don't know. Whenever I heard that he threw 8 innings and he hit his 40th home run of the season, I had to think about it for a little while. Like I just had to sit there and think about it. Like
It's not going to happen again.
No, it's phenomenal. I know Angels fans are eating it up, but like, man, I just got to sit here and enjoy this. It's awesome. It's so good.
Are you not eating it up, J-Roy? I think
No,
everyone's
I
eating it
am.
up.
I am. No, but I'm a big Vlad defender, so I've been but no, like Ohtani, he's special. He's special, and I remember last year on the podcast, I said something about how the Phillies are going to be playing the Diamondbacks this week, so maybe they can pad their record against them. They lost all 3 against the Diamondbacks, so I think that's just something I think you got to keep in mind. Like whenever we talk about like strength of schedule, like in the remaining games, like sometimes that can all go out the window. I thought that would be 3 games the Phillies would win, but they lost all of them and looked terrible. So
Oh yeah, it'll happen. Especially like the Diamondbacks. I think the Rockies are also like they're interesting teams to be watching coming up here because they're gonna play decent baseball for at least 5-6 innings, but it's usually those 1 or 2 innings a game that really do them in. Like it's gonna be interesting, especially with those 2 down the stretch here, especially in the NL West race. Because I mean the Giants are 7-3 in their last 10 and have lost 3 games worth of ground in the division, or 2.5 games worth of ground in the division. It's insane because the Dodgers, I think, have won 9 straight. Like, you can be doing everything right and still, you're still competing with the, monsters of baseball, modern day baseball. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anyway, so just anything else anyone wants to say about anything else that's happened this week? Wrap that part up. If not, I got a couple things. I think one of the big things this week was Chris Bassett. He got hit in the face by a line drive in Chicago against the White Sox. Very, very scary scenes. They took him to Rush University Medical Center, and he was gone a couple days, or not gone. Sorry, he was allowed to leave a couple days later. Like he is fine. He's gonna be fine. A few facial fractures, but that's about it. So really scary scenes, but he looks like he's going to be making a full recovery, no problem. And then that's really the big one I wanted on, just because I think it's scary. The reality of baseball, it happens. It happen any game, any day, and it's just very glad that when it does, that there are people that are able, make sure that the worst is avoided. So We wish all the health to Chris Bassett, and hopefully recovery is speedy and easy for him. All right, so beyond that, we'll move on to our 7th inning stretch. Let me just get this up. There we go. So Kristian, J-Roy, Matthew, you guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
Do it.
Perfect. So inning number 1. So with the CBA negotiations coming up this offseason, like information's going to leak out. Like that's inevitable. We know that. That's how everything happens. There's always leaks. But those leaks started this last week. And it was rumored that MLB would implement a $100 million salary floor, which a lot of teams have been asking, a lot of fans I think have been asking for. I'm not sure about teams. We know with tax and that they would have a $180 million salary. That'd be the luxury tax, or there would be a tax for teams spending more than that. And the tax taken from those spending over $180 million would fund the team spending under $100 million. So do you guys think it's a good idea, a bad idea? What could the results of implementing a system like this be? And do you have any sort of better solution for salary floor, salary caps, stuff like that? And we'll start with Matthew.
I think the salary floor is a great idea. You got to have the teams spending money. Some teams like the Rays are able to, use their analytics, get to the point where they're competitive, but most of the teams that aren't spending, look at the Pirates, look at a bunch of these other teams, just aren't able to compete with that level, and they're not paying the players enough. The players should be paid more. I don't know if funding that with the tax on the teams paying more is going to really work well, but it's a good start. You got to get the floor out there somehow and bring that idea in, and then you can negotiate to a point where it works better and it's a final idea. But to get that started in the negotiations, I think is a great idea.
All right. J-Roy, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I have super strong feelings about, but I do think it will be a good thing implementing that minimum. This article on CBS said that there are 7 teams that in the past have not hit that 100 million, and so they would have had to increase how much they spend. And I think that's a good thing. I think we want to encourage each of the teams to actually be spending money, and so like Matthew said, I think it'll spur those negotiations and kind of get the ball rolling for certain teams and have them not just rely on the strength of their analytics departments, that kind of thing. And, so I think the minimum is a good thing in place. And, having 180 as the luxury tax threshold, I think that's fine too.
Yeah, I like all those points. I think the floor is important. But my PowerPoint just shut down there for a sec, so I'm gonna get that back up. But we're gonna keep going, and I'll get that back here. So, Kristian, what do you got?
Firstly, I think the floor is fine. Having $100 million floor is fine, but to try to tax the teams who are spending is ridiculous. They should not be punished because a team wants to cry poor. There are currently 11 teams under 100 million. 2 of them are within 3 million to surpass that. If I had to change this rule, how they interpreted it, the teams that aren't at the 100 million mark should be paying for the tax of teams who are above the threshold. You shouldn't be penalized for spending money. It's stupid. It is stupid. It is very stupid. Small market teams do not exist. None of them are not making any profit. Any of the teams that are in the bottom of the league can just simply spend and it'll work. So a minimum floor is good. It's necessary. The way they went about it was not trying to tax anyone over 180 million. I think it should be higher than that too, because contracts in baseball are only getting higher per year. Trout's making 42 million. I mean, everyone's making more and more and more every year. So to limit it at 180 million, you're going to limit money players can make, and that's not okay. So it needs to be higher than 180 million.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. I think the floor is good. I just think this system in particular is a little wacky. But like Kristian just said there, if 180 million doesn't seem like a high value for those teams that really like to spend. So as I continue to work to get this back, but we'll keep moving forward. So inning number 2, the Braves signed Travis d'Arnaud to a 2-year, $16 million contract this week with the club option, which would keep the catcher in Atlanta through 2024. I think this is a good move for the Braves. But what would incentivize them to make this move right now? And we'll go to Matthew.
I mean, I think from the Braves side, it makes perfect sense. He's one of the top catchers in the game, at least last year. He had a great year offensively. He's been doing well. And if you look at some of the other contracts around the league, this last offseason, James McCann got a 4-year, $40 million contract, making $10 million a year for the Mets. So to be able to get d'Arnaud at $8 million a year is a steal. I don't know how the Braves front office able to keep doing this with all their players, getting them to long deals at bargain values, but somehow they're able to do it with all their players. And Freddie Freeman contract year this offseason, we'll see what they do with him, if they're saving money for him or if he's going to get another bargain deal as well. But I mean, as someone within the division, I just don't understand how they're able to get all these players at these prices.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to do it, but it works for him. So, J-Roy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the deal just shows they have their foot on the gas, and they want to continue, sticking it to the Phillies and the Mets and other teams in that division. And right now they're the best team in that division, and it shouldn't even be close, really. If the Braves were really about it, they would go out there, keep winning games, and make this a 10-game lead. And the Phillies and the Mets couldn't do anything about it because they have too many holes in both of their teams. And so, I mean, this is a good deal for them. It's not expensive. It's a really good deal. Like Matthew said, $8 million a year. That's a really good deal, especially considering James McCann, who's not a good baseball player, got more money than that. I think that it is impressive that the Braves keep doing this. The Acuna deal, that's like the most team friendly deal in the sport right now. And so I think that I think it's a good deal for the Braves. d'Arnaud was pretty good offensively last year, 144 weighted runs created plus. He's missed a lot of time this year, but I think he will continue to be a difference maker for them going forward. So yeah, I like the deal for the Braves, and I think it makes a lot of sense for them.
Kristian.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. This deal is awesome for the Braves. They have William Contreras as their backup, Jeff Mathis as their backup, and there's no good catchers hitting the free agent market this year. So this move made perfect sense for them. James McCann is a bad baseball player. He's a below league average hitter and a below defender, and should not have been given that money at all. So the fact that they're paying for a good catcher below him is truly ridiculous. I think what made them make this move is he came back and he's still hitting, he's still framing, and they just have a need for catching. There's no one's ready in the minors, no one's there in free agency. It's a perfect deal for the Braves.
Yeah, I like that assessment a lot there. He's just been doing his job. He's earned it, I think. And the free agent class, like you said, is not super strong. Their minor leagues for catching isn't super strong, so I like the deal a lot too. And I think kind of what J-Roy said, that just shows they're ready to go. They're want to keep the success they've had the last couple of years in the division. So we'll see how it results and what comes of that deal in the next couple of years here.
Yeah.
He also, I think he just went on. Yeah. He also just went on the paternity list. So congrats to him and his family. They're gonna have another kid. So I don't know if another kid. I don't know if he already has a kid. Oh yeah, dad power is very real. Anyway, so inning number 3. So after being DFA'd by the Cubs, the Padres signed Jake Arrieta to a major league deal, who immediately gave up 5 runs in his debut. Is there any upside to this move for the Padres, or is it a desperate grab as the team starts to risk sinking out of playoff contention, as they're already kind of now on the outside looking in? And we'll start with J-Roy.
No, this is a terrible pick. Jake Arrieta is not a good pitcher. I had to watch this guy pitch for a little while. He's not good at all. Jake Arrieta has not had a Sierra under 4 since 2016. He strikes out under 20% of the hitters he faces. He walks 8%, close to 10% of them. I mean, there's not much to say other than that. Arrieta is not a good Major League Baseball pitcher, like in the year 2021. I don't really see how this moves the needle at all for the Padres. I think it's just kind of funny, honestly, that they went out and got him. Like I don't know. I just think it's hilarious because he's not good, and I don't really know what they were thinking with this.
Kristian.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Jake Arrieta is horrible. He was awesome when he was on roids with Chicago. Like that's the truth. He was on roids with Chicago. Jerry said it best. He stopped striking out players. He's walking too many players now. His FIP hasn't been below 4.5 since he was a Cub. I mean, it's 6.15 right now this season. He is just. I don't understand this move in the slightest. Mackenzie Gore, even with his horrible mechanics from last year, would be a better pitcher than Jake Arrieta right now. There is zero reason why a team who is contending should have gone for him. There's zero reason why the Baltimore Orioles should have tried to bring him back. He has no business on a team right now.
Fair points. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I think Gore fixed his mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video going around Twitter of him with more sound mechanics for the leg kick.
It's still pretty similar in the motion, but it's definitely tuned down a lot, and that's great.
Yeah, I think they'll do wonders for him. Matthew, what do you got?
Is there any upside in this move? I think so. There's a small chance, a really small chance, but there is a possible upside if he finds something. I don't know what he'd be able to find, but there is a chance he could, be valuable. But I think it is more so that second part, a desperate move by a team that's slowly falling out of contention. And you talked about his first game with the Padres, except that was in Colorado, so that's a little bit harsh to judge, I think, because it's Coors and a team that plays well at home. Even though they suck on the road, the Rockies have been one of the best teams in baseball this year at home. And
it's true.
So that's tough. And then also you look at, for this season, his home run fly ball percentage is the highest of his career, and it's not really that close. If somehow he's able to fix that, and the pitching coach or talking to someone in San Diego is able to bring that down, he could be a serviceable 4 or 5 option, I think, that might be able to win a game or two that could decide something down the stretch. He's not someone you pitch in a wild card game or in a must-win playoff game, but he could, help with a game in the regular season.
No, yeah, I didn't get it when they made the move either. I think it's just the second half of this question asked, is this just desperation? I think so. And, I think they're really they're willing to try whatever will get them, the past that hump that they're, trying to face right now. But it's not a great sound move. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if he ends up doing something for him, if he refines his form. But we'll see. Anyway, moving on. Inning number 4. Fact or fiction. With the Mets considering shutting Jacob deGrom down for the season with shoulder inflammation, combined with surges from the Phillies and the Braves, the Mets can basically say goodbye to any chance they had at the playoffs. And we'll start with Kristian.
I'm going to say fiction. I think they still have a chance for the playoffs. A slim chance at that. But this is an offense that's so severely underperformed. I mean, Dominic Smith had a 140 WRC plus last year. He's at 84 right now. Jeff McNeil's at 93, Lindor 97, Conforto's at 101. These are all really good hitters who've done nothing. I still have faith that they can find themselves. They're going to get Lindor back, and they're getting Baez back within the week. The division's not good. The Braves have been playing out of their mind right now. The Phillies have been playing better. I don't have any faith in them, so I still see the Mets as a team that can compete, that can sneak in and take that division. But yeah, none of them are really that good, and that's why.
There, J-Roy.
Oh, I'm gonna say fact just because I don't trust the Mets at all. Every single one of their hitters who are talented hitters have been terrible this year. Kristian listed off the numbers there. None of their hitters have performed well this year. And I don't really see any reason why that's going to change anytime soon. If you have the best pitcher in baseball who is not going to potentially pitch for you the rest of the year, it's going to be such an uphill battle for them. They'll probably finish ahead of the Phillies. Maybe not. Who knows? But man, like if the Braves take care of business, like this really shouldn't be a close race in the NL East. I just think it's a really, really slim chance that the Mets still make the playoffs.
Matthew.
Yeah,
Christian.
No, you're good.
It's definitely a fact. There's no shot at this point the Mets make the playoffs. They're 7 games out right now. I don't know if I'd call the Phillies surging right now. They're, I think, 3-8 in their last 11, including a sweep from the Diamondbacks.
I didn't write these questions and put that out there. It was last.
But yeah, the Braves, on the other hand, definitely been surging. They were getting hot at the right time. Won 8 straight, I think about to make it 9 against the Orioles. And they, to me, have been the best team in the division for most of the season. They struggled at the beginning, but they were always going to win the division, in my eyes. I think the Mets, just with their injuries, with all this stuff happening, weren't going to be able to keep it up. The Phillies were never really a good team in the first place, and they're just, struggling to stay around 500 now. But the Braves, even with the losses they've had, they had a quietly strong deadline, getting their entire outfield. And now, they're starting to play well, starting to hit their stride, and they got a bunch of easy games with the rest of the division not being that good. I don't know what they'll do in the playoffs, but I think they should make it there pretty easily.
Yeah, I'd agree. Christian, you said you seem like you had something to say.
Yeah, the one reason why I truly have faith in the Mets is that they have something that the Braves and the Phillies do not, which is a really damn good bullpen. Edwin Diaz, Aaron Loup, Seth Lugo, Trevor May are great relievers. Like phenomenal relievers. Aaron Loup has a 1.17 ERA this year, and it's deserved. He has a 1.84 FIP. When you have a bullpen that good, you can go on streaks. You can win without starting pitching, and you can win without hitting. The Mariners have been doing it all season. The Mariners do it quite some time. That's why I really have faith in the Mets.
The problem is the Mets haven't been getting out to leads. They went on a stretch of 5 games, I think, last week where they didn't have a lead. Yeah. Your bullpen can't keep a lead if you don't ever have it.
To be fair, they've been playing the Giants and Dodgers for the last week and a half.
That is also true.
They've been playing tough teams. J-Roy,
Christian, I think you make a very interesting point, and I think that if they sneak into the playoffs, that makes them really dangerous. Like if they can get into bullpen battles with any team in the NL, that makes them very dangerous. I just think they've dug themselves too big of a hole right now.
Yeah, they're a quality team. Like I've watched them a lot this last week because the Giants, and then I've been keeping track of their games against the Dodgers, and I think they've lost 3-4 straight, but they're not getting blown out. The games are being kept close. It's not ridiculous. So, I think there's nothing wrong with having faith in them. I also think there's nothing wrong with having no faith in them. They've given teams or people a reason to have and not to have. The bullpen is very strong and a good reason to have faith. All right, so we'll move on to inning number 5 here. So staying with the Mets. Stephen Cohen made some headlines this week, got himself in the news in the middle of the Mets struggle. He tweeted out, "It's hard to understand how professional hitters can be this unproductive. The best teams have the more disciplined approach. The slugging and OPS numbers don't lie." End quote. How big of an issue do you have with Cohen saying this? And how do you even respond to that if you're a player in the deck? Or I guess if you even have an issue, or you might not have issues with this, but we'll see here. And we'll start with J-Roy.
I have absolutely zero problem with this at all. I think I'm not going to say that it's a good thing necessarily, but this team cannot hit at all. And they have zero excuse for it. Like a team with Nimmo, Pete Alonso, Lindor, Conforto, Dominic Smith, this is crazy. It is absolutely egregious that they cannot hit the ball. If you are a player in the Mets dugout and you are upset at your owner saying this, go hit the ball. Go hit better. Just listen to what he is saying. And listen, they have a good team out there. You can't even say we don't have the talent. We need to go make moves in the off season, or we should have made more moves at the deadline. the talent is there. There's no question about that. You can go look at these guys' track records and, look at the season Dominic Smith had last year. Look at Nemo's on base percentage the last few years. Look at, there's a lot of things you can look at. This team can hit. They're just not doing it. If Steve Cohen making comments like this on the internet is the thing that they need to like get riled up and actually go out there and like start hitting the ball, then so be it. Like I don't have a problem with it at all.
Matthew.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a unique situation. We don't really have owners of professional sports teams in today's age, going on social media and just tweeting things. I guess in the past you could have had press conferences of them saying things, but it's really different when you can just grab your phone and send out a message and all the fans can see it and reply, and all the players are seeing it. And, to be honest, like what Jerry was saying, I don't really have that big of a problem with what he was saying because it's true, the team hasn't been hitting well, but it might have been better to do it at least the first time in private. Maybe he did a first time in private and we don't know about it because it was private, but I think it should have been kept within the team, maybe fire up your team that way. But putting them on blast to the entire world is kind of, I don't know if that's the right move. And you could start to affect in future trying to re-sign these players, trying to bring them back, or trying to bring in other free agents back, saying, I don't want to be a part of this team where if I go out there and play badly for a game or two, all of a sudden my owner is going to call me out and start saying you need to play better when, these guys I have to assume are trying their best to win games. They're in a playoff race, so it's not like they're trying to do this, and then they're going out there and their boss is yelling at them in public. It's awkward to see, sort of, as a fan.
Kristian.
I don't have any major problems with this, other than the fact that you're talking about plate discipline and OPS and all this stuff, and you went out and traded for Javier Baez as your biggest hit. That was the guy. That was your plate discipline, on-base percentage guy that you wanted. You set yourself up for failure when Chris Bryant was right there on the same exact damn team. Steve Cohen is a hedge fund loser, but he loved baseball. He's been a baseball diehard his entire life, and he bought the Mets. I would be the same exact way if I was a head fudge loser who bought the Angels. That's exactly how any baseball fan tweets when they're angry. I don't blame him at all. It is weird to see, just seeing an owner blast them on the timeline. But speaking for Mets fans, it has to be so damn refreshing to see that. When you had Will Pone in there, who just hid themselves from all that crap and let the media talk them out of it. This has to be the most refreshing thing, to see an owner actually call them out and hold accountability. I love this from him. I don't like him. He's a loser.
Yeah, I think it's a unique situation, for sure, because no one else is doing that. It's really just Owen doing it, and like Kristian said there at the end, the Mets fans really got a quick 180 with owners there. But I know a lot of people are real upset about it. But also, I don't know if I necessarily upset about it. I'm like, okay, it was said earlier, maybe do it internally first. Maybe they did. Maybe it was private, so we don't know. But the way that a lot of players reacted makes me think it wasn't internally done first. And I thought it was interesting to see him. He comes after slugging and OPS. Those are, with, him being – most of the boomer stats. I was expecting batting average. RBIs are down. Hit. So he came out with a little bit more not so, boomer stats. But interesting to see nonetheless. But man, I think he hoped it would ignite something in him, and it hasn't shown so far. So I think it might have the opposite effect of what he was hoping for. Anyway, moving past Steve Cohen and the Mets. So inning number 6 here. I messed that up real quick. Antetokounmpo. I wanted to say Antetokounmpo. That one Twitter. Exactly. Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks is now part of the ownership group for the Milwaukee Brewers. Between him and Patrick Mahomes doing the same thing, because Patrick Mahomes is a part owner of the Royals, do these types of things mean anything to you? it's obvious, like, a way of, these other stars and other sports showing a connection to the city. That earned, these players any points with you. And if there's going to be a non-MLB player, another star to buy stake in an MLB team, who do you think it is? And we'll go to Matthew first.
Yeah, I think it's great for growing the game. I mean, it's not going to hurt for sure, but I think it could help because a lot of these fans that are football fans or basketball fans that maybe might not be into baseball, if your favorite player is Giannis, your favorite player is Mahomes, and you see, oh, they own this team now, they like the sport, maybe I should start getting into it. And then you can start getting these other fans from the other sports and, slowly get them more involved, and then you can grow the sport from there. And, if you're saying your favorite player likes our sport, you should too. If MLB leans into that, I think that could help. I mean, in terms of who's the next one to do it, I don't know. You got to really, the formula for it is both these players won with their city. Mahomes has a long-term contract. Giannis signed an extension. So you got to have somebody who's basically defined by a city. I think Brady might have been a guy who could have done it before he left for Tampa. Maybe he could still do it back in Boston. And then you can also look at the players that were drafted in baseball and decided to go to football or another sport instead. Someone like Kyler Murray, maybe if he finds a bunch of success. But it's kind of hard to pinpoint a specific player that would be next, I think.
Yeah. I like those picks, though. Brady, I can see Brady going back to Boston and maybe try and do something there. J. Roy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely cool to see. Like Matthew said, I think it's good for growing the game. It definitely doesn't hurt. And I think, I like it especially in a case like Mahomes, just because, Mahomes grew up playing baseball. His dad was a major league pitcher. So I think, he has some sort of connection to baseball. And so for him to go out and buy a share of the Royals, I think it's just cool and fun to see. He's like the biggest name in football right now, and it's a good thing for MLB. And also seeing Giannis buy a stake of the Brewers, like I have no idea if Giannis likes baseball at all or not, but it's just kind of funny to see. Like, yeah, sure, like I have no problem with it. I would love to see Luka Doncic become a part owner of the Texas Rangers. I think that would be awesome. I think that would maybe make people a little bit more interested in a team that's been bad the last few years. It might be the spark plug that the Rangers need. And everyone loves Luka. He's I think he has a shot to be like the best international player ever. And I think that I don't know, he's all around really fun to watch. I think that I'd like to see him be part owner of the Rangers. I think that'd be fun.
I absolutely love that pick. I didn't even think about Luka. I don't know why, but I love that pick. Kristian.
Yeah, I think the two obvious for me is LeBron. He could easily buy a stake in the Dodgers or go back to Cleveland. Magic Johnson's a minority owner of the Dodgers too, right?
Correct.
So I could easily see LeBron getting into that. Giannis is such a humble king, man. I love him. I'm so glad he did
Giannis.
this. He's been so smart investing in things. I love everything about him. Yeah, LeBron and Shaquille O'Neal, I think he could invest. He invested in the Sacramento Kings at one point and then had to sell it because he was a part of a gambling site and they couldn't do the same. So I could absolutely see Shaq doing it. He's someone who just loves to go on everything. He's in every advertisement. He's just doing side quests right now in his life. And the Dodgers being a minority owner, I could easily see that, very much so. I think this is awesome for baseball. I don't know how much it necessarily helps baseball, but it's not a bad thing. It can't possibly be a bad thing. So I enjoy this quite a bit.
Yeah, so when I threw in the bit about who's the next person to do it, I think you could easily see a Steph Curry with the A's. Mm-hmm. You could see Trae Young with the Braves, maybe. Like you said, it's these big names who got big deals with these teams that tend to be a little more small market, as you would say, or that aren't getting as much attention. I think Jokic with the Rockies, maybe even coming off this MVP and all that. But my first one was Dak Prescott with the Rangers. because he just got a big deal in the NFL too. But I just think it's really cool to see. And I know after the aftermath of Giannis's becoming a part owner, apparently they were like in talks about this for months. This isn't like a quick thing. Like this is when the NBA, when Giannis was like, they weren't sure if he was going to sign with the Bucks. He was talking to Brewers ownership about this. There was never a chance of him actually leaving. And also, shortly after, a video of him surfaced swinging a bat, and it's not good.
He could work on that swing a little bit.
A lot of it, actually. But yeah, it was
knowing
really,
I have a better swing than Giannis makes me feel quite happy.
Yeah, but it was really entertaining. But yeah, I think it's really cool for baseball. Like you guys all brought up good points. I think it's a good chance. Like, oh, your favorite player owns part of a baseball team. Well, maybe I should go look at the baseball team. And like, I think it's a good stepping stone, especially for like really young fans. So I think there's literally no downside to it. I think it's cool. It's fun. So down the stretch here, our 7th inning. So there have been 7 City Connect jerseys that have been released this season, with the Dodgers jerseys being released this week. Rank the 7 from best to worst. And if you guys forgot, we have the Marlins, the Red Sox, the White Sox, the Cubs, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and the Dodgers. Those are your 7. Give me 1 to 7, and why you have 1, why you have 7. So we'll start with Kristian.
Miami's absolutely the swaggiest, most beautiful fucking jersey I have seen in quite some time. They should be their full-time jerseys. The Chicago White Sox would be my 2nd. That was awesome. That's as much praise as I will have for that team. I liked the Diamondbacks cream jerseys. I wasn't the biggest fan of them, but I would have to have them 3rd. The Boston, the color scheme I like. I was confused why Boston of all teams had it, but I liked the color scheme quite a bit. And then the Cubs was downright horrible. The Giants I didn't like. I like the hats. Those 2 are interchangeable for me. And then the Dodgers, I didn't necessarily dislike anything about those jerseys, but the fact that they went Los Dodgers and not Los Doyers like pissed me off. It pissed any Hispanic off. It's
same. Yep. I was so upset about it.
So ridiculous. And yes, the Dodgers by far the last, because how dare they?
Yeah. J-Roy.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Kristian. I think the Marlins were my favorite. I think I just really like the design. I really like the color scheme there. It really just stood out to me, and I think it just works better than any of the other ones. I do not like the Red Sox one. I think that's probably my least favorite. I don't really care for the color scheme there. That like blue and yellow. I just don't really care for it. I don't like the color of the Cubs jerseys, but I like how it says Wrigleyville. I think that's pretty cool. Like, I like Wrigleyville more than I like Southside, Like I like the White Sox jerseys more, but I think Wrigleyville is just a cooler catchphrase. The Giants one at first I didn't like, but I've warmed up to it a lot. I think the colors on it are pretty vibrant. Like I don't know. I just like the way the colors kind of pop, and I think that like the G logo is like I don't know. At first I didn't like it, but now I kind of do. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's better. Like it's better designed than a lot of the other ones are.
That's
for Gatorade commercial, absolutely.
I mean,
and then I will say that I think the Diamondbacks jersey is actually pretty cool, like the Serpientes on it. I kind of dig that, and the Dodgers, I like the colors, but because like it's just normal Dodger blue pretty much. But like y'all said, but the fact that it doesn't say Los Doyers and it just says Los Dodgers, like Dodgers isn't a Spanish word. Like I don't really understand what they were going for there. But so if I had to rank them, I'll go number 1 Marlins, I'll go number 2 Giants, number 3 White Sox, number 4 Diamondbacks, number 5 Cubs, number 6 Dodgers, and number 7 Red Sox.
Okay, that's very off of most other lists I've seen.
Oh yeah,
it's very much not similar.
I feel like my list is very different from every other one I've seen on Twitter.
I expect nothing less from J-Roy. Matthew?
So I sort of broke this down into 3 tiers of the jerseys. The first tier in order being Diamondbacks 1, White Sox 2, Marlins 3. So the Diamondbacks jerseys for me, I just love those. The Serpientes, the color, all of that. That is the tiebreaker for me between that and the White Sox, which I love the White Sox one, but it's just black and white, and I get that's their colors, but it's still a little bit, basic. I like the cream in the background, the way they used the desert for the Diamondbacks and brought all that in, and it felt that's sort of what I envisioned when I hear the City Connect jerseys. That's sort of the standard for me at this point. And then the Marlins, both J-Roy and Kristian brought it up, really great with the color scheme, the way it works, and all that. And then the second tier, I'd have the Cubs and the Red Sox, which are sort of like, they're not horrible, they're not great. The Red Sox, I think, would be better. It's a little weird with their color scheme, given their colors. The yellow and the blue, the light blue, that's not really what I think of when I think of Red Sox, but I get the city thing. I get some people in Boston like those, so that gives it a little bit of a boost. And then the last tier would be the Giants and then the Dodgers, both of which I think they could have done a lot better with. They're not really that good. Watching the Dodgers game the other day, and the hat just looks crowded, putting Los Dodgers on there, and then the all blue. I mean, it's a nice color blue, and I like when the pants match the jersey, but it's just a little bit too much, I think, for a regular season game that they're going to be using often. And again, the same thing that Kristian brought up, where it says Los Dodgers, like that. Just that in itself doesn't really make sense. They could have done better there. The Giants, I mean, there's not really much happening there. It's, I see what they were trying to do. Could have had better execution. It's
true.
There's not really much else to say. It's like they tried to go simple, but with a little bit of touch there, and it sort of just didn't work out. So.
Yeah. So this was our last question, and we have a tie for first, but I'm going to give it to Kristian because his rankings were the closest to mine. And because it's a completely biased show, I'm going to give Kristian the win here. J-Ray probably would have won if he wouldn't have praised the Giants jerseys. As a Giants fan.
I just think that like out of all the teams that tried to do something ambitious with their colors, I think like the Giants, like the Giants color, the gradient of that color just looked so much better to me than like I thought the Red Sox one was terrible. Like I don't like that jersey. It doesn't feel like a Boston Red Sox jersey to me at all. And I don't think it's as well executed as like the Marlins or like the stark black and white of like the White Sox jersey. But I don't hate the Giants jersey at all.
That's fair, and I've seen a lot of people outside of Giants fans, and some Giants fans like it. I, for one, think they're awful. They look worse in person, if that's believable. I've seen them in action. The game they wore them because they wore them home Tuesday games is when they wear them. And the game I went to a Giants Dodgers game. It was the game with the belly throwing error at first. I was at that game, and the jerseys just don't look good in person. I haven't seen the other ones, but they just don't. They're just bad. Like I don't know. The logo itself, it looks really good on like they have the sweatshirts with that same orange, the creamsicle color, the tangerine, whatever you want to call it. They look good on that, but the fact they're on the white base makes it look really off. It makes it look really awkward. So I don't love them. My rankings are Miami's 1. I think that is the absolute best one, especially with like the meaning behind it. It's like a shout out to the Negro League team that was there. The White Sox I have at 2, just because they're just clean. They're well done. And I have the D-backs at 3, but I kind of think those two are interchangeable for me. I love the D-backs. Serpientes is fantastic. Big fan. I have Wrigleyville at 4. Red Sox at 5. Because like I get that when you get City Connect, you can't connect much more to a city than the Red Sox did. Because the color scheme is for the Boston Marathon. Like that's their whole thing.
That
They
makes
look like
way
the
more sense.
UCLA Red Sox though with the jerseys.
That's why I liked him, because UCLA, they're my dogs. But I didn't correlate Boston Marathon. That makes way more sense.
Yeah, because I remember when they first came out, I hated them, and then someone's like, "This is why they're this," and I'm like, "Okay, I hate them less, but they're still not great."
Yeah, they got to bump up for me because the people in Boston, they kind of liked it
They
because
love
of
them.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, and I think that's more important than anything. When the city likes them, that's big. I think that's why the White Sox were like 2 for me, because that fan base loves those jerseys.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
So-
J-Roy made a comment like he liked Wrigleyville more than Southside. I think Southside blew that away, because that is City Connect. Like that's what you talk about. Southside Chicago.
fair.
It's the White Sox. Like it resonated with the team and the city and the fan base really.
That's a good
perfectly.
point. I don't like okay, that's very fair. I don't like the font that Southside is.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's the White Sox, so screw them.
Fair enough. And then I had the Giants 6 and the Dodgers 7, just because Los Doyers was right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels almost like super intentional not to have Los Doyers. And I've seen a bunch of Twitter stuff about it. They're like, oh well, they don't want to like make fun of like Hispanic people don't say it right, but Nike already has licensed Los Doyers merchandise.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. It's like if you like said Los Giants instead of like Los Gigantes. Like it wouldn't make any. It wouldn't make any.
The Giants have Gigantes jerseys. Like I have one. It's my favorite jersey. Mm-hmm. It just says Gigantes on it instead of it doesn't say Los Giants.
The first Little League team I played on was on the Los Doyers, not the Dodgers, but the Los Doyers. So that's the jersey I wore.
It's right there. If it would have been Los Doyers, I would have respected it a lot more.
I would have bought it instantly.
I wouldn't have, but like that's for other reasons. But
that's fair.
Man, I think they missed their opportunity with it. But I think they're at 87 right now. But I'm excited like for the City Connects next year. I think they'll learn a lot from what people liked this year. And I've heard that they've seen the reactions, and they're going to go back into some of the mock-ups they've had already. So we could see some change to what the original designs would have been. We probably won't see something like Los Dodgers again. We probably won't see something like the Giants again. We'll probably see more so like the Miamis, the D-backs, those ones that everyone kind of agrees are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think they're fun. I like them. I just hate my teams. What are you gonna do?
What jerseys are you most anticipated for next season? Like the Angels ones, I feel like they can do so much with the Angels, the Wings, like everything about it, and there's so many teams that
I'm excited for the Rockies.
Yeah,
I think the Rockies can be because they have purple. They have like so much right there for them. The mountains. And if they don't incorporate the mountains, I'd be upset about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But they have so much potential.
They have the easiest color scheme to do good.
Exactly.
I agree. Like if they do something with that really deep purple, like I love that color, like that Rockies.
It's so nice.
Purple.
It's so pretty.
They could kill a jersey with that. That'd be great.
I don't know if I don't know if I'd use the word excited, but for when the Yankees get theirs, I'm interested. I guess would be to see what they do, see how much they actually stray from, their standard and traditional jerseys.
Yankees fans are going to be up in arms.
Yeah.
I agree.
I want a name on the back for the Yankees jerseys, and I want all of them to be fuming about it.
I also, I'm kind of excited for the Rangers ones and the Phillies just because they kind of share a color scheme in a sense, like the red, whites, and the blues. Like I just think that you could go two very different directions with those colors, and so I'm kind of interested to like contrast the Rangers and the Phillies jerseys.
I think the Phillies can do a lot because Philadelphia is a very historical city. Mm-hmm. So I think they have very, very high potential, and I'm excited to see them. Mm-hmm. I like the Phillies jerseys now too. Like I think they've got some really good jerseys,
really solid jerseys.
Like I have one, but they've got so much potential. I just really hope they don't mess it up again. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so anything else before we move on to our last little bit here?
With the Rangers jerseys, they're totally doing like an American flag jersey. That's just I've had
probably
in my head.
A Texas flag made probably.
Yeah.
Actually.
The
Lone
Texas
Star
on top, an American flag on the pants or something. Like it's happening.
I want them to look as minor league as possible because minor league jerseys are fantastic.
So
big fan. Love
the
them.
Frisco Rough Riders have some cool jerseys.
A lot of teams do.
The Angels and the trash the Rocket City Trash Pandas should be swapped.
Oh, those are
the Trash Pandas deserves to be an MLB name. Like it just
I agree.
deserves to be.
Also, as we're like still talking about the jerseys real quick, so something we didn't mention at all was the Little League World Series. Like, you know, they have the game out in wherever they are, Williamsport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so this year the jerseys they did were they actually put Great Lakes and then West on the team because it's Cleveland and the Angels. So the Angels, it's pretty much just take the colors of the team, the Little League World Series design, slap it onto a jersey, and I think they look really cool. I like them. They're fun. The Great Lakes for Cleveland's really nice. I think the Angels, the West looks really good too. They're just. I
wish it wasn't West. It could have been like Orange or something for like Orange City or County or something.
Well, I mean,
West was cool. West was fine.
That's because they play West. That's why.
But the Great Lakes, Great Lakes is
that's
a lot
the region.
Easier. Yeah. West. Just West was. I felt
Midwest is
about that.
Los Angeles is in the Midwest, buddy. Like I don't know what to tell you.
No, I don't know, but like you have Great Lakes for the Cleveland,
right?
And then you have West for Anaheim. I just felt kind of like they could have done so
cheated.
Much like more. Yeah, I felt cheated. I felt very cheated on that. But the jerseys itself look really good.
They look nice. They're fun. I like them a lot. Plus, I love seeing the coverage of all the Little League kids obsessing over Ohtani, Trout. Mostly, it's those two. They're trying to build up like Cleveland's as well, but it's not as easy because they have J-Ram. That's about it. But Ohtani's Ohtani. Like, come on. All right. Anyway, we'll go into our last bit here, our what to watch for this week. Where these guys will tell you, a player, a team, an experience. I don't know. What are you guys watching this week? And we'll start with our winner, Kristian.
I think Brandon Marsh. He's finally he's learned MLB level. Well, he had always had that really good eye and the power is in there, the contact, and he has just been everything to watch in Anaheim right now. Toronto is still always the team I am most focused on. I still think they're at least the second best team in that division, and they're the team I'm most anticipated about.
Matthew.
So in general, obviously the playoff race, but more specifically looking at the Braves schedule this week, now that they're sort of in control of the NL East, they have the Yankees at the beginning of the week, and then I think it's the Giants on the weekend. So those are playoff teams. We'll finally see if, are they in first place because it's the NL East and everyone else is worse, or do they belong in the playoff picture? So this will clear that up a bit, I think.
All right, J-Roy, bring us home.
The Blue Jays and the White Sox play a little bit later this week, and I think that'll be an interesting set of games. Just kind of curious to see how the Blue Jays fare against a really, really good White Sox team. And also, I'm going to bring up Jose Ramirez because I feel like I'm always bringing him up, but J-Ram has a 4.4 F4 right now, 136 weighted runs created plus, and he's had some very, very poor batted ball luck. He's walking right around where he was last year, a little bit less, but his on base percentage is 30 points lower. So I think that if things start to turn because he hit 2 home runs yesterday maybe or 2 days ago, something like that. If he's starting to heat up, man, he's gonna put up a 6.5 win season, and we're not going to realize it. So I'm always going to be boosting that dude up.
He deserves it. He very much deserves it. And I'm going to throw this in there. We do get another Padres series this week. It might feel like it's not as anticipated because the Padres have been so bad, but I feel like it's still going to be a lot of exciting baseball just because, all of those matchups so far have been insane. So I'm going to be, tuning into that for sure.
And it's in San Diego, right?
Yes, I believe so.
That first game is going to be so important to set the energy and set the tone for the rest of the series, man. Because if they go out with a whimpered Padres that first game, they're fucked for the rest of the series. But if it's an electric ninth inning or anything in that game where Tatis can just get the crowd hyped up, they're winning it. They're breaking out of this slump.
Yeah, we'll see if the Padres get their mojo back. I think it's going to be real important. Plus, I hope the Padres will sweep that series. So. Anyway, as we wrap up here, you know where to find us. Hopefully, if you don't, you can find us on Twitter at diamond_digest, Instagram diamond.digest, or online on the internet at digest.com. And so, yeah, that'll be it for us today, this week. this week in baseball. For Jonathan Roy, Matthew Penn, and our winner, Kristian Lloyd today, I am Diego Franco-Carreno. Enjoy your week of baseball. Enjoy your week of life. As always,
baseball.
Go baseball. Yep.
Fire Madden.